Should you buy a Kaspa miner in 2024? And if so, which one? Or is it too late? What about all these new ones that have just been announced, like the Goldshell KA box, 𝗦𝗥𝗡𝗥 KS5Max, IceRiver KS5L, and the Bitmain KS5 and KS5 Pro? Are they worth the money? Or is it better to save some money by going for the slightly older miners like the IceRiver KS3M or Bitmain KS3? And is the KS0 Pro still worth it? Well, I'm going to try to answer all those questions and more in this video. And of course, I've updated my Kaspa mining spreadsheet with all the latest miners so that we can have a look at that as well. And at the end of the video, you can also download that spreadsheet to input your own power cost and predictions too. So that's what's coming up. But first, quick word from our sponsor. Coin Mining Central is an online store for ASIC miners, and there's no doubt that right now ASIC mining profitability has just been going up like crazy in these past few months. And the miners that I'm personally most interested in right now are probably the Goldshell KA box home Kaspa miner and the Jasminer X16Q, which I still think is probably the best ASIC miner available for at-home miners like myself. Coin Mining Central are also continuously providing me with exclusive discount codes for you guys, like the code 𝗬𝗑, which gives you $125 off on every miner in your order. I am also very excited to tell you that Coin Mining Central have recently launched a loyalty program that lets you earn points in loads of different ways, like signing up for their newsletter or following them on social media. You also earn points on every order you make with them, and these loyalty points can then be redeemed for massive discounts on your next purchase. Now, on top of this, with Coin Mining Central, worldwide express shipping is always free, and there are never any added payment fees during checkout or anything like that. The listed price is always the total cost you'll pay for the miners. And I did a lot of research before I decided to partner up with Coin Mining Central, and there were two clear things that stood out to me about them. The first one being that as opposed to most other ASIC vendors that are based overseas, Coin Mining Central is registered and run out of England, Europe, which means they have to adhere to the very strict regulations for customer support and personal detail protection that we have over here. And of course, all brand new miners also come with a full manufacturer warranty. The second thing is their pretty much spotless track record of delivering miners to happy customers like you guys for well over 5 years at this point. So please go check them out today. I'll have the discount codes and link for you down in the video description. Alright, first of all, nothing in this video is financial advice. And yes, Coin Mining Central, who do sell these miners, are sponsoring this video. However, they did not specifically ask me to make this video. I'm free to say whatever I want about all of these miners. They don't get to watch the video before it goes live or anything like that. And as I always say, we're also mostly going to be looking at numbers and hard facts today, which you guys know is what I'm all about on this channel anyway. But I've also actually discussed with Coin Mining Central, and they have agreed to give you guys some discount codes just for this video. So you can, as always, use the code 𝗬𝗑 to get $125 off on every miner in any order. Or you can use the code 𝗬𝗑 Kaspa to get $250 off on the Bitmain KS5 models or the IceRiver KS3M. Now, those codes will work together with the links to the miners that I'll put down in the video description and in the spreadsheet. And just for full transparency, the channel here does get a small commission when you use those. And that is a great way to support what I do here at no extra cost to you if you appreciate the insane amount of work that went into this, and if you were shopping for a Kaspa miner anyway. So big thank you to you if you do that. All right, I'll put those discount codes down in the video description and in the spreadsheet as well, so that you don't forget to use them. All right, so I want to talk a bit about the big question, which is getting any of these miners actually going to be worth it? However, if you just want to see the breakdown of all of these different ASICs, how they stack up against each other, and the predicted final earnings, you can just skip to the timestamp that I'll put on the video screen here to see the spreadsheet portion of the video. But if you're still here, that means you want to get a more detailed understanding of if getting a miner is worth it or not. And to get to that, I think we first need to make sure we actually understand the question itself. Because there are a few different ways of looking at this, and the answer is going to be different depending on what your mining strategy is. The first one is if you just want as much Kaspa as possible, is it better to buy a miner and mine, or just take the money you would have spent on the miner and electricity for the miner and buy Kaspa for all that money instead? Now, while that might sound like a very straightforward way of approaching this question, to me that's probably the worst way of looking at it. Because if that's your mindset, then you obviously have the opinion that specifically Kaspa is going to increase a lot in value. And while we can do a bunch of math and predictions to try and figure out if you'll end up with more coins by buying a miner as opposed to just buying the coin itself, at that point, maybe you should just buy the coin if you are so laser focused on specifically Kaspa and only Kaspa. But I would instead like to focus on a different way of approaching this, because to me, this other perspective is a lot more accommodating for all of the advantages that mining has over just buying crypto. And I think that this approach is the one that actually makes more sense to discuss when talking about whether buying a miner is worth it or not. And I think a good place to start is to break down what an ASIC miner actually is from a more practical perspective. And basically, it is a machine that lets you turn electricity into cryptocurrency. And the point of it all, for most people, is that the cryptocurrency you mine with it every day is worth more than the power cost of running the miner. And that is what we commonly refer to as our mining profitability. So if we use this new Goldshell KA box as an example here, as of recording this, it costs about $1,800, mines just over $9 worth of Kaspa every day, and the power to run it would cost just over $1 a day on a low to average electricity price. So currently the miner is bringing home about $8 of profit per day, which in other words means that this is a machine that lets you buy $9 worth of crypto for $1 daily. And now that we've established this way of thinking in our minds, I believe we have a much better understanding of if buying crypto mining hardware is actually worth it or not. Because now we've basically reduced this question down to, do we think this machine will stay profitable enough for long enough to fully pay off the initial cost of buying the miner? Because at that point, the miner would have made you more money than you had to spend to buy it in the first place, making it an overall profitable investment. And I'm going to explain why that's a better way of looking at it than just comparing it to buying Kaspa with the money. But first, let's finish our example of buying this Goldshell KA box. So it costs $1,800 and makes you $8 of free crypto daily after power. This would then mean that if everything stays exactly as it is right now, it would take just over 7 months for this thing to pay itself off completely, after which you would just be making pure profit every day. And that is also not taking into account the fact that you might be able to sell the miner itself at a later date to recoup some, if not all, of the initial cost of buying the miner. But of course, if one thing is certain, it's that in crypto mining, things never stay exactly the way they are, and mining profitability changes every day, if not even every hour or even every minute. And there are 4 things that will affect your mining profitability. Number 1, your power cost, because the more expensive your power is, the more expensive it is for you to mine, and the less profit will be left after you pay your power bill. Number 2, the amount of coins paid to miners every day, and this is usually a set amount that all miners have to share. And generally speaking, the more hash rate someone has, the bigger portion of those coins the person gets. And with Kaspa specifically, the amount paid out to miners is reduced by roughly 5% each month. Number 3, the network hash rate, or in other words, how much mining power is currently online mining the coin. The more hash rate comes online, the less coins everyone gets. And number 4, the price of the coin. Because since you mine a specific amount of coins each day, if the price of those coins were to, let's say, double overnight, the next day you are now all of a sudden making twice as much money as the coins are now worth twice as much. So basically, what it all comes down to is, do we think these 4 things that affect mining profitability will, on average, be in a place where the miner in question will stay profitable enough for long enough to pay itself off? And this is where it all just comes down to what your own personal predictions are, as well as your individual situation of how cheap or expensive your power is. And if you want to be really precise, you should probably also include how much you think you'll be able to resell the miner for when you're done mining with it in this whole equation as well. Because while it is true that the amount of coins Kaspa pays out to miners is reduced every month, and that the Kaspa network hash rate has just been growing and growing, both which, reduce the mining profitability, Kaspa's coin price has also gone up a crazy amount and has been passing so many people's expectations. which in turn has then continuously increased the mining profitability again. So as you can see, there's always this balance between these 4 different things that affect mining profitability. Now, why is this a better perspective than just comparing it to buying the coin instead of mining it? And the simple answer is because you can use miners like these to stack any coin you want. You can absolutely use them to stack Kaspa if that's what you want, and it might work out that you will end up with more coins from buying a miner than if you were to just use the money to buy the coins. I don't know, I haven't done the math on that. But the reason why I'm in crypto mining specifically is because I want to use mining as a way to build a diverse portfolio of loads of different coins. And a machine like this new KA box, for example, allows me to get, at the current profitability, $8 of free crypto every day. And that can be just $8 of free Kaspa every day, or I can take that mined Kaspa and swap it for whatever coin I do want on an exchange. For example, maybe I'm super hype on 𝗬𝗢𝗡𝗧 at the moment, or maybe I just want to stack as much Bitcoin as possible. Or a big advantage, at least to me, specifically with miners like these Kaspa miners, is that they are supported on Unmineable, which is a pool that lets you mine Kaspa but have your full mining profits paid out to you in any of the over 90 different coins that they support. Now, that is something that I personally like because I am lazy and it's extremely convenient, but they have been criticized before for having, significantly worse profitability than just mining the coin straight. So that is something to just keep in mind if you are choosing to use Unmineable with these things. And all of this that I've just covered is why I say the answer to whether a miner is worth it or not comes down to, will it be profitable enough for long enough to pay itself off? Because that then means it will have earned you more free crypto than if you just were to spend the money on buying the crypto upfront. Or in other words, the miner was a profitable investment for you. And as I said, if you want to be very precise, you can also add to that equation how much you predict you'll be able to resell the miner for when you're done mining with it. So what is the actual answer then? Will these Kaspa miners stay profitable enough for long enough to pay themselves off or not? Well, of course, no one knows, because we cannot tell the future. All we can do is make calculated predictions of how we think things like network hash rate and coin price will change over the next months or years. And while we will look at that in just a minute when we open up the spreadsheet here, and in my opinion, it is looking quite good still, I'd first like to take a step back and give you guys a more pragmatic answer to this question. Because while no one can give you a straight up answer to the question of if these miners will pay themselves off or not, the truth is that the potential definitely is there. I can't tell you that they will, but as of now, it's definitely looking very likely that they could. And I already touched on this in one of my previous videos, but my philosophy these past couple of years as I've been rebuilding my mining farm after the Ethereum merge has been to diversify into different types of mining hardware. And my approach is to buy different miners that all have that potential to be able to pay themselves off, just like these Kaspa miners do have that potential. Because we can never know for certain that any one specific piece of hardware will eventually pay itself off. But if we buy a good variety of different mining hardware that all have that potential, then unless we are very unlucky, most of it will probably at least pay itself off. And hopefully that hardware that does end up being very profitable also ends up paying off the hardware that didn't quite pay itself off. And also, not only that, but hopefully some of it even becomes extremely profitable and ends up making us a lot of money. And when I say pay itself off, I mean earn you more free crypto than you would have got from just buying the coins. After that, it's all up to you what coins you have actually been getting your mining payouts in, and if those coins go to the moon or not. So, to summarize, in my opinion, the only valid way to say if a miner is worth buying or not is if the daily profitability of the miner, when added up day by day, ends up being more money than you paid for the miner in the first place. Or, in other words, do you think the miner will stay profitable enough for long enough to pay itself off? Unfortunately, we can never know this about any mining hardware ever, as we cannot see into the future. The best we can do is make predictions and then buy a diverse range of different mining hardware that all have that potential to be worth it. And As you'll now see when we open up this spreadsheet, these Kaspa miners definitely do have that potential. Alright, here we are on the computer with the spreadsheet, and I want to start by saying that the point of the spreadsheet is mainly to illustrate the differences between these currently available Kaspa miners, and to give you the ability to see how much they would make in comparison to each other in different scenarios that you input at the top of the sheet here. Now, obviously, what this spreadsheet does is it lets you compare all the basic stats of all the available Kaspa miners, like price, hash rate, power efficiency, value for money, and how long it would take them to pay themselves off at the current coin price, net hash, and mining profitability. But it also allows you to compare the final profit after mining with all of these things for 2 years, and for that you can input the different scenarios here. So you can enter your own power price, the price you expect to sell Kaspa at the end of all of this, how much you think the net hash is gonna grow each month, and how much you believe you will be able to sell the miner for after it's all done. And as you can see on the sheet here, it then breaks down the coins mined, revenue, cost, and final profit after each month. And yes, this does take into effect the Kaspa emissions that are reduced by roughly 5% every month. Now, this sheet only compares the mining strategy that is mining and holding all the coins to then sell them all after 2 years of mining at the coin price you input at the top. So it won't be accurate for the strategy of selling every day. However, it can still be used if your strategy is mining Kaspa and swapping into another coin. You then just have to kind of use your imagination a bit here. So let's say you are mining and swapping your earnings into 𝗬𝗥𝗧 because you think 𝗬𝗥𝗧 is gonna like 100x in price in the next 2 years. You can then look at what the Kaspa current coin price is, and then for the target sell price here, you can basically just 100 times what the current price for Kaspa is today, and that would be the same as if you were swapping into 𝗬𝗥𝗧 and 𝗬𝗥𝗧 then 100x's. So I hope that makes sense. I also want to give a little shout out here. If you're looking for a wallet for your mined Kaspa, or I guess any other coin for that matter too, I really want to recommend this Tangem wallet. And for full transparency, I have recently partnered up with them, but I did so after doing a lot of research into different crypto wallets. And to me, Tangem offers the best combo of security, ease of use, and actually supporting coins that us miners use, right? I want to mention it here because they did actually give me a discount code for you guys. So if you do want to get a Tangem wallet for your Kaspa coins, you can use code 𝗬𝗏, as you see here, to get 10% off on any of their wallets. I'll leave a link to that and the discount code down in the video description as well. All right. But with that out of the way, let's run some scenarios for this spreadsheet here. And we're just gonna do this quickly because I'd rather you actually download this spreadsheet and input your own numbers and predictions, right? And to do so, link for it will be in the description. All you do then is just open that up, hit File, make a copy, and then you should be able to make edits as you please. And basically the 4 little cells you want to be changing are these yellow ones here. The blue ones, they kind of auto-populate. So they're automatic, you don't need to worry about those. Same for basically everything else is automatic in the spreadsheet. So basically just input your power price, the price you expect to sell your mined Kaspa at, or, you know, if you do that whole swap to another coin thing, I already explained that. How much you think the net hash is gonna grow for Kaspa each month, and how much you expect to sell your miner for at the end of it all. So if you don't want to sell it at the end, you just put this at 0. If you think you're going to be able to sell the miner for, you know, twice as much as you bought it for, put 2, and so on. But let's leave it at half for now and let's move on. So yeah, you got all of the sort of basic stats about all of the miners here, as well as the discount codes for all of them if you want to get them from Coin Mining Central, plus links where you can get them there. I do have all the available Kaspa miners here. Well, also some of the ones that aren't available, these ones, which basically I don't really think they sell or make any of these anymore, to be honest. So as you can see, they're not in stock. So anyway, I'm probably gonna hide them for now. Yeah, and then we can focus on these ones. So let's start with this scenario that I already have here. Power price of 15 cents per kilowatt hour. We expect to be able to sell Kaspa for $1 at the end of this 2-year mining period, and net hash growing with 20 petahash per month. Now, no matter what I put in here, it's gonna be wrong, because obviously Kaspa's net hash doesn't grow equally. It kind of grows a bit and then it stagnates, and it grows a bit and then it stagnates. So, you know, plus I can't predict the future perfectly with this. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at 20 petahash, but
I really do encourage you to just download a spreadsheet and input your own predictions instead. But basically, no matter what you input, it should tell you still the differences between these miners, which is what the point of this spreadsheet is. And as you can see here, you know, even though these break-even times aren't going to be true because they are based on, you know, net hash coin price as of today, you know, even if that changes, it also changes the break-even time for all of these kind of on the same level. And as of today, the new KS5L has the best break-even time, and that is simply because it's very much so profitable, like all of these Kaspa miners are, but it offers the best price per gigahash. So as you can see here, it is the cheapest per hash rate. It isn't the most efficient though. So as with always in mining, you gotta weigh between, like, do I want mining efficiency, you know, power efficiency, or do I want value for money, you know, dollar per hash versus watts per hash? That is the sort of conundrum that we're always faced with. And honestly, if you are going to get any Kaspa miner right now, then the KS5L is probably the one to get if you can afford it. Of course, it is very expensive, but if you have the money for it, that is the one to get. But if you do want to take a step down in price, then honestly, the KS3M is still looking pretty dang good, if you ask me. Of course, if you want to take another step down in price, yeah, it's gonna be the 𝗬𝗥𝗧𝗦 probably. Honestly, that thing is pretty dang power efficient. It surprised me how power efficient that one really is. And it might not ROI as quickly, but it will stay profitable for longer. That is what better efficiency does get you. As you can see here, it has better power efficiency than like the KS3M and the Bitmain KS3 even. Then another step down, like the KS0 Pro, especially if you are gonna overclock it, you know, that voids the warranty and all of that, but I don't know, it's a tough call. Me personally, you know, I just got one myself, so that should tell you what I think. But yeah, that would be the sort of like lowest tier one that I would still consider probably. Yeah, let's just scroll down here and we can see that, yeah, I have this sort of final return on investment here. And as you can see, at 15 cents kilowatt hour with these settings here, these are all profitable investments. And, you know, with the best one still being the KS5L based on these settings I've input here. We can see if we input maybe like 50 cents instead, you know, we're still very much so making it out with more than we started here, except for the KS0 Pro, I believe. And yeah, honestly, I could input a bunch of numbers here, but I think it's much better if I just hand you the spreadsheet and you do it yourself. So I'll leave you with the link for it in the description. Next, I'd recommend you watch this video where I go into detail on different ways for calculating what coin price Kaspa could potentially reach in the future. Or if you want to learn more about my take on buying Kaspa miners right now, I have this video where I go through my thought process on why I just got a KS0 Pro for myself. So I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.